today I'm playing with Medlars. These are some Medlars that lovely friend Stuart has given me from his tree. He gave me a big bag of them, so it's a real treat. I've never played with Medlars before, so let's have a look at them. I think they're like, the structure of them is a bit like an apple. You think of that as an apple, except that this bit at the bottom is much more open. You can see it's very open at the bottom. They're very distinctive. It's only a Medlar looks like that. If I cut it here, oh, this one, aha. There we go, we'll talk about that in a minute. Well, okay, this one's starting to go rotten, but you can see where there is like the seeds like you get in an apple. So it's very similar to an apple with a core, with some seeds, and a sort of skin that's looks a bit like a russet, and this bottom bit. So I think they were brought over by the Romans. They come from a sort of Turkey area, around Turkey and the Black Sea. Well, I've got Medlars in 3 stages here. I've got these ones that are actually not ripe. I'll cut this one open here, so you can see that it's not ripe there. And then I have some that are sort of like half ripe. There's still some hard stuff on them. And then when they're ripe, they're like this. And I don't know if you can see that, but they're very, very squidgy. And unless you know about Medlars, you might think that that's rotten, but that's actually ripe. And they call it the fruit that's not ripe until it's rotten. It's quite a nice way of putting it in. Look, open it. Oh, look. And many people go, oh, that's disgusting, because it looks rotten, but it's not. That is when it's sweet and ready to eat. However, if you just try to eat this now, you'll find there's lots of stones in it, lots of pips in it like this. So look, if I pull them out here, you'll see just how many there are. And so that can be quite a barrier to eating it. And then you've got the skin here. But then you have this in the middle, which is like applesauce, ready-made applesauce. It's all smooth, and I'm just going to taste them a minute. Yeah, it's a bit like applesauce with a hint of toffee, really. So that's quite interesting. I'm quite interested in that. And apparently there is a long tradition of them being eaten raw. So that makes me very happy, and I'm thinking I'm on to a winner here. Just throw this away. Right. Okay, so I have here a big bowl of Medlars that are ripe or rotten. And when they get like this, it says that they're bletted. So you leave them. You wouldn't eat them like that, they're bitter, but this is a whole different thing. Not that sweet, but very nice taste to them. So we need to overcome the issue of the skin and all those seeds. So I've come up with a plan. Right. My plan is, I've got a straining net here. Okay, I buy my nut milk bags from a winemaking shop. They do great huge bags like this, and they do them in different grades, and the one I use for nut milks is very fine, but they also do these thicker bags, coarser hold bags, and so I'm going to use one of those and see if that works, because when I get hold of one of these Medlars and I squeeze it, it just all squeezes out. So this is my plan. Nice rotten ones, letted ones rather. Okay. Oh look, there, it's all coming through now. Oh, this is a good fun job. So I'm now getting a lovely, you can see it's like it's been cooked, a very fine applesauce here. So I'm going to do this with all the Medlars, and then I'm going to see what I can create. at this time I'm thinking that I might be creating, well, of course I could do a pie, like an apple pie, an autumn apple pie, make it maybe a bit spicy, because I think that maybe cinnamon would go nicely, ginger would go nicely. I think a bit of citrus in it would be very nice, so it's not too heavy a taste. And yeah, I think that'll make a very nice pie. And I thought I'd also try to make a sorbet, see if it makes a sorbet. I'll just try that. And then I'm gonna see if I can come up with something a bit different to the standard. You never know, this could become a real Christmas tradition, having medlars, because it's one of the fruits that is available in the winter when it's cold. They're just, it's now the first week of December, going to the second week, and they're just falling from the tree and they're just becoming ripe now. So how fantastic. And you can see how in years gone by, it would have been an amazing thing, wonderful thing to have had fruit at this time of year. Of course, some apples will have kept, but to have fruit on the tree would be lovely. So there we go. I'm going to continue doing this, put some more medlars in my bag. Well, I've been doing this for a while now, and I've got a nice pile of the fruit here, and what I've discovered is actually if I just squeeze it out of the skin before squeezing it through my net, my straining net, is better. So really easy, just press the skin, get it out. Lovely. These were medlars were mentioned by Shakespeare, Chaucer, been mentioned a lot down through the ages, and this process of going rotten to become ripe is called bletting, and it happens when there's a frost, but it also happens in storage if you keep them for a long time out in the cold, or if you keep them, as I have, inside in the warm for a short time, they blet as well. In fact, these came around 5 days ago, and they were totally hard. So in just 5 days in the house, they've pretty much, the majority of them have completely bletted. So that's quite useful. So you can see they're coming out very easily. I'm getting a really nice big pile to squeeze through my net. So I've done what I suppose you could call reducing, though it's not in the cooking sense. I've reduced the medlars down to 2 piles. And this pile here is a pile of the seeds that's been left, and I'd sieved them through the net. These are the seeds, and apparently medlar trees are self-fertile, so you need to have one grow and you'd get fruit. So there's a nice quite dry pile now of the seeds, and next to it here is a pile of the skins, because then I put the pile of skins I'd pushed the soft middle out of in and squeezed that and got a lot more out of that. So that's now a fairly dry pile of the skins. And then here is a lovely dish full of medlar sauce, soft, creamy, gorgeous. It tastes absolutely delicious, not too sweet, but rich and thick and autumny and lovely. So what does it go with? What flavours can I now create things with? Well, here's a few of them. So, what will lovely medlars go with? Let me think. Lemon? Definitely. Orange and lemon? Absolutely. Ginger? Definitely. Cinnamon? Especially true cinnamon from Sri Lanka? Absolutely wonderful. Coconut palm sugar, yum yum. And I've got a hunch that there's going to be a whole lot of savoury ingredients that'll go very well with them too. But I've got to have a play first. So let me go and play and see what I come back with. It's 3 days later, and here's my bowl of medlars. that were not ripe 3 days ago, but now see, the majority of them are sort of squidgy. I can squidge this around and squidge it open, which means that they're bletted, which means that they're ripe, rotten. So this is probably the least bletted in the bowl. It's got a little bit there and it's still fairly hard here. But the rest of them, pretty much, there's very few of them that are like that. Most of them are these nice squidgy ones, which means they're lovely and soft inside and ripe. So putting those aside, what I have here is something I made with the Medlars, and this tastes very much like another taste here so I can talk about it. Very much like mincemeat filling, mince pie filling, you know, that lovely spicy appley sort of filling that you get with mince pies. And and I made that by adding in a cup of raw Medlar pulp. Of course it's raw, even though it seems like it's cooked, and 10 well soaked organic prunes like this. I'm putting them in the frame now. So these are well soaked, and it means that they're really squidgy all the way through. There's no hard centre to them at all, and a lot of their sweetness, intense sweetness, has come out in the liquid. So they're a lot milder once they've been soaked for a while. And they were great. They mixed really well with the Medlar. And then I added some spices. I added a small amount of cloves, maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon, and something like a 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground ginger, maybe quarter to half, and then 1/2 a teaspoon of true cinnamon. I love the true cinnamon that comes from Sri Lanka, around that area. It's much lighter than what I grew up as knowing as cinnamon, which is cassia. It's a much coarser cinnamon, whereas the true cinnamon from around Sri Lanka is much more delicate, doesn't have the harshness on it. It's lovely. So some true cinnamon and about the juice of 1/2 a lemon, and I just blended all those together, and they made this lovely like Christmas pudding type filling that is so lovely. Next thing I did was I put some Medlars in the freezer, and voila, here we are again with the same stuff as the Medlar. And it came out of the freezer, it froze really well, so that's great news. You could keep it to Christmas. That'd be a great thing to have at Christmas in your raw mince pies. Also, I'm sure it could go into a raw Christmas pudding very nicely. And as you can't buy it in the shops, great thing to do is to save it. I'm sure that if you kept the Medlars in a very cold condition, they wouldn't blet and rot as quickly as they have done in my kitchen. They'd be much slower. They'd stay firm for a lot longer. So that's also another strategy for keeping them. Now that I've shown you some sweet Medlars, I'm going to show you my pièce de résistance. It's savoury Medlars. It's Medlars made into, wait for it, here it is. Yes, it's curry, Medlar curry. Here we go, it's a nice raw Medlar curry with parsnip rice. Tastes good. The Medlars taste like a sort of a cooked gravy background to the curry. And what I've got in there is, I've got a cup of raw Medlar pulp, a few drops of homemade Scotch bonnet raw chili sauce, and I can show you how to make that. A teaspoon of mild curry powder or Madras mix, just being lazy there, and then a clove of garlic, pressed, crushed, and chopped, pressed or pressed or crushed and chopped. Teaspoon of ground cumin, and then I mixed in some more chunky things like 3 tablespoons of sprouted fenugreek seeds, a couple of tablespoons of sprouted sunflower seeds, medium carrot finely chopped up, you can see that in there quite clearly, and then I used 2 small parsnips chopped finely in a food processor with an S blade on to make the parsnip rice. And then here I've just got some chives sprinkled over the top, but coriander would be lovely. I just didn't have any coriander tonight, so yeah. So as you can see, curry. Now this is delicious, and this is going to be my dinner right now. So experiment with medlars. They're great fruits, and I'm sure there's a lot more that can be done with them. And if you come up with some medlar recipes, I would love to hear from you. So, happy medlar hunting. A lot of people don't want them because they don't know what to do with them, but now you know, so you can probably go and pick some. Have fun.